Thank you, Lori. The CDC has established new COVID quarantine guidelines as symptoms become less severe and worker shortages are plaguing many industries.
Yeah, Fox News' Ingrid Kelly has a look at what this means as we move forward.
The Centers for Disease Control making a big announcement this week, reducing the isolation period for people testing positive for COVID from 10 days to 5. Doctors at Beaumont believe it's a step in the right direction.
If you test positive, you do have to quarantine for 5 days, but you can return back to work after those 5 days if you remain asymptomatic, but should be wearing a mask at all times for the remainder 5 days.
CDC officials say the change is motivated by science and aimed at getting people back to work quicker, primarily if they are classified as an essential worker, like a doctor or nurse. But everyone is not on board with the changes.
As a manager, I wouldn't want anyone to come back before 10 days. Actually, I would prefer 2 weeks. But 5 days is just too soon.
But Carmen Allen is not only speaking as the general manager of Plum Hollow Lanes, she's also speaking as a person who was diagnosed with COVID.
And I set out for almost 2 weeks. You don't want to infect anyone else.
But doctors say those infected with coronavirus are less contagious after day 5.
The 5-day period is the most infectious period, and so that's the time that we want you to stay home. And then after that period of time, you can still technically spread the virus up to 10 days of time, and that's why we want you to wear a mask.
The announcement from the CDC also providing guidance on what to do when you are exposed to COVID.
If you have gotten both of your vaccines and your booster shot, then if you were exposed and you have no symptoms, you do not need to quarantine. So really it's a benefit for those who are fully boosted that they no longer, just being exposed, have to stay home for that 10-day period.
But again, doctors make it clear going back out into the community and back to work depends on the symptoms you exhibit.
Just remember the 5 and the 5. So if you have symptoms, you stay home until your symptoms are resolved or you have a negative test. If you are boosted and fully vaccinated, then if you are exposed to COVID-19, you do not have to quarantine.
But as some protocols change, some businesses say they will do what they believe is best to keep their staff